From the outside, my life looks like a fairy tale. Married to James Edwards, a man who built an empire with his charm and ambition. A husband who adores me. Who's given me everything. Everything except what I truly need. But perfection is just an illusion. Beneath the glitter and gold lies a marriage built on secrets and silence. In my search for more, I found a door I wasn't meant to open. A place where I could lose myself. And where desire came alive. But desire comes at a cost. And temptation doesn't just knock, it breaks the door down. Erick, James's best friend, my husband's most loyal ally. And yet, I feel the weight of his eyes on me. It should be wrong, but sometimes wrong feels so right. The deeper I go, the more the walls close in. Desire, deception, betrayal. They're all threads in the web I found myself tangled in. And now, I'm running out of time to escape it. I thought I was searching for love. But in this world, love is never simple. And sometimes, the thing you desire most can destroy you.
Alice, he said softly, his voice a balm to her wounded soul. I heard what happened. I'm so sorry. She tried to speak, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, she just nodded, fresh tears streaming down her face. Erick sat down beside her, wrapping an arm around her shoulders and pulling her close. It's okay, he whispered, his breath warm against her ear. You're not alone. I'm here. Alice leaned into him, the comfort of his embrace offering a brief respite from the pain. She closed her eyes, letting the warmth of his body and the sound of his steady heartbeat soothe her. I don't know what to do, she admitted, her voice breaking. I feel so lost, Erick. She turned to him, her voice trembling and raw. Am I not enough for him, Erick? Her eyes glistening with tears. Searched his face, as if he held the answers she desperately needed. Am I not desirable? Am I not beautiful? Her voice cracked, and she looked away, ashamed of the vulnerability that spilled from her. Erick's chest tightened as he watched her unravel. The woman who had always seemed so strong, so poised, now sat before him, broken and searching for validation in the wake of her husband's betrayal. He longed to ease her pain, but the depth of her sorrow left him grappling for the right words. Alice drew in a shaky breath and continued, her voice barely above a whisper. I even wondered why he hadn't touched me for months. Was it because of her? Was I just invisible to him? Her hands fidgeted in her lap, twisting a strand of her hair as if trying to tether herself to something solid. Unable to hold back, Erick reached out and placed a firm but gentle hand over hers. She froze, her breath catching at the unexpected warmth of his touch. Alice, he said softly, his voice steady but filled with emotion. You are more than enough. You're incredible, beautiful, strong, and kind in ways James was too blind to see. What he did. It was his failure, not yours. She met his gaze, the intensity in his eyes disarming her. In the quiet between them, the sound of the waves seemed to fade, leaving only the faint rhythm of her racing heartbeat. Erick's thumb gently stroked the back of her hand, grounding her in a moment that felt both intimate and terrifyingly real. He tightened his hold on her, his touch reassuring. I'll be here every step of the way. In that moment, amidst the heartbreak and the uncertainty, Alice felt a flicker of hope. Erick's presence was a lifeline, a reminder that she wasn't facing this alone. She looked up at him, her eyes meeting his, and saw the depth of his care and support. Thank you, she whispered, her voice filled with gratitude. Erick leaned in, pressing a gentle kiss to her forehead. Always, he said softly. They sat there in silence, the ocean stretching out before them. I came here to look for you. Do you know James called me? James was crying on the phone, Erick said gently. As his friend, I empathized with him. His life is at its worst right now, but that doesn't mean I'm siding with him. Alice sighed, her eyes red and swollen from crying. I just don't understand how he could do this to us, to me. Erick nodded, his expression thoughtful. Marriage is difficult, Alice. That's one reason I remained a bachelor. It's hard to be faithful to one person. I thought James would be different, that he would remain faithful forever. But then again, he's only human. We face temptations every day. Alice looked away, the weight of Erick's words sinking in. Temptation or not, it doesn't excuse what he did. No, it doesn't, Erick agreed. Unfaithfulness is never right. But I hope you can find it in your heart to show some compassion, especially given James's condition right now. Alice's shoulders slumped, her mind a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. Compassion, she repeated, almost to herself. How can I show compassion when I'm hurting so much? Erick reached out, taking her hand in his. I know it's hard, Alice, believe me, I do. But sometimes, compassion can be a path to healing, not just for James, but for you as well. Holding on to anger and resentment will only poison your heart. Alice's tears began to flow again, but this time there was a hint of something else, perhaps the beginning of understanding. I don't know how to move forward from here. Erick gave her hand a reassuring squeeze. You take it one day at a time, and remember, you don't have to do it alone. I'm here for you every step of the way. Alice looked up at him, her heart aching with gratitude and a complex mix of emotions. Thank you, Erick. I don't know what I'd do without you. You don't have to thank me, Erick said softly. Just let me help you through this. We'll figure it out together. Alice nodded, the turmoil in her heart beginning to settle, if only slightly. Erick looked around and saw that it was already dark and cold. Alice, we should get back to the house, he said gently. You'll catch a cold out here. Alice nodded, her emotions still raw but feeling slightly comforted by Erick's presence. They stood up and began to walk back to their cars when suddenly, the sky opened up and rain came pouring down heavily. Within moments, they were both drenched, the rain soaking through their clothes. Great, Alice muttered, trying to shield herself from the rain. Just what we needed. Come on, let's get to the cars, Erick urged, taking her hand to guide her through the downpour. The path from the seawall was long and slippery. They tried to run, but the rain made it difficult to see and maintain their balance. As they hurried along, Alice's foot slipped on the wet pavement. She let out a small cry, but before she could fall, Erick caught her safely, his arms wrapping around her protectively. Whoa, I've got you, he said, steadying her. But the slippery ground betrayed them both, and they lost their balance. Alice fell on top of Erick, their bodies colliding in the rain-soaked night. Erick protectively held her in place, his arms still around her. They both laughed breathlessly, the absurdity of the situation momentarily lifting the tension. Are you okay? Erick asked, looking up at her with concern. Alice tried to stand, but in her attempt, she slipped again and fell back down. This time, their faces were inches apart, and her lips accidentally brushed against his for a fleeting second. Both of them froze, the unexpected kiss sending a jolt of electricity through them. The rain continued to pour, but time seemed to stand still. Erick's hand instinctively moved to the back of Alice's head, holding her gently in place. Their eyes locked, the unspoken connection between them growing stronger. Alice's heart pounded in her chest, and she could see the same mix of surprise and longing in Erick's eyes. Erick, she whispered, her voice trembling. He didn't say anything, but the look in his eyes spoke volumes. Slowly, tentatively, he closed the distance between them and kissed her again, this time more deliberately. The kiss was soft and lingering, filled with unspoken emotions and a sense of inevitability. Alice's mind raced, but at that moment, all she could feel was the warmth of Erick's lips against hers and the steady beat of his heart. She kissed him back, pouring all her confusion, pain, and longing into that single, stolen moment. When they finally pulled away, they were both breathless, the rain still pouring down around them. Erick brushed a strand of wet hair from Alice's face, his touch gentle and reassuring. I'm here for you, Alice, he said softly. No matter what, Alice nodded, her heart torn between the pain of her past and the possibilities of her future. She didn't know what would come next, but she felt a glimmer of hope. Let's get out of this rain, Erick said, helping her to her feet. They reached Alice's car first, and Erick said, "Drive safely." "I'll follow you," Alice nodded, her emotions a chaotic storm beneath her calm exterior, and slid into the driver's seat of her car. She gripped the wheel tightly, her fingers trembling as she tried to steady her thoughts. Behind her, Erick climbed into his own car, unbuttoned his damp navy suit, and swiftly pulled a dry shirt from the back seat. He slipped it on with practiced ease, started the engine, and focused his gaze on Alice's taillights, never letting them drift out of sight. The drive back was silent, the rhythmic sound of tires on wet asphalt the only accompaniment to the thoughts swirling in their minds. Erick kept a careful distance, his gaze flicking between the road and the figure ahead of him, his own feelings a tangled mix of worry and longing. When they finally pulled into the driveway, the rain had softened to a gentle drizzle, the droplets shimmering under the faint glow of the porch light. The night air was thick, heavy not just with the remnants of the storm, but with the unspoken tension that lingered between them. As Alice stepped out of her car, she paused, the cool drizzle brushing against her skin, grounding her in the moment. Erick emerged from his car as well, hesitating for a beat before stepping closer, the unspoken weight of their shared emotions hanging palpably in the air. She turned to Erick, her eyes reflecting her turmoil. "I can't face James right now," she said, her voice trembling. "It's too much." "I'm overwhelmed," Erick nodded, understanding the depth of her pain. "Take all the time you need." "I'll talk to him." Alice gave him a grateful look and headed straight to the basement, seeking the solace of solitude. The basement room had become her refuge, a place where she could be alone with her thoughts and emotions.